during the early days of the Biden administration, they passed some pandemic recovery programs that included a child tax credit that was fully refundable that, really dramatically reduced child poverty. And the assumption was that, all right, we're just going to do this for a short term, but it's going to be so popular that Republicans are going to be forced to join us, and Joe Manchin's going to get over himself and also get on board, and we're going to be able to make this thing permanent. Well, that didn't happen for a variety of reasons that I'll just get into. And the long and short of it is that we've now had child poverty spike, the largest amount that we've ever had in history. Put this up on the screen. Child poverty in the U.S. more than doubled, and median household income declined last year when COVID-era government benefits expired and inflation kept rising. This is according to new Census Bureau numbers. Let's go ahead and put this next piece up on the screen because you can just visualize it so clearly. So the child poverty rate in 2022 was 12.4%. Now, this individual, Zach Parolin, points out that from 1967 to 2021, previously, the largest year-over-year increase in the child poverty rate was 10.7%. Now, we had a record increase, a 139% increase in child poverty from 2021 to 2022. This is a policy choice. You can see it right there. When politicians in Washington decided that it was important to have a child tax credit and put it in place, child poverty fell off a cliff. And when they decided they didn't care about it that much anymore, and I want to say, listen, it was mostly Democrats who supported this thing. Joe Manchin kind of tanked it, and none of the Republicans supported. So let's be clear about, who stands where on this. But when the politicians in this town decided it was no longer a priority, it jumped up by record numbers. I did a whole thing last week about my view of Bidenomics. I think there are some genuinely good things that have been put in place for the long term. Industrial policy, important, something we would never have seen under Obama, Bush, Clinton. Corporate antitrust, like trust busting, a rethinking of corporate power. Also really important. You see the Google antitrust lawsuit going on right now. I talk ad nauseum about labor power and this Biden National Labor Relations Board and how that could be changing the game for union density and labor power in this country. Those are all long-term trends that isn't helping anyone out right now in the current reality where they are trying to pay their bills, trying to, keep their kids fed, trying to keep a roof over their house, trying to keep the lights on. All of those things have become more difficult during the Biden administration. And then you have these people turning around like, I just don't get it. Yeah. I don't get why these people don't love us. I don't get why they don't love Bidenomics. I don't understand why they're not flocking to the polls and enthusiastically ready to support us. It's very clear, guys.
It's not complicated. It's really not complicated at all. And you can just watch how it all continues to drop structurally as well. We're just talking about child poverty, because that just feeds into so many things about how people feel insecure, and it has a lot of developmental problems and impacts on children. It puts people behind because they have to go into debt because they want to provide for their kids, and then that makes it so that they can't reach even further milestones, further on down the line. But the story of the Biden presidency is just pretty obvious. It's like, and also why people, and this is why it's so stupid. I saw recently, they're like, well, we're going to define Bidenomics and Maganomics. I'm like, well, actually, if you look back, most people feel like they're doing pretty well under Trump, unambiguously. It maybe not even had anything to do with Trump. Low interest rate environment and no COVID and low inflation. But it was better then, and it's not now. So if the story is that you're getting worse, well, things aren't looking up for you.
Here's the other thing where they do themselves no favors by completely denying any sort of Democratic primary process, is part of why Biden was forced into promising anything on economics in 2020 was because he had to be on a stage with primarily Bernie Sanders, but also, Elizabeth Warren was pressing him on certain things, whatever. And so he had to have at least somewhat of an affirmative economic vision. It was, one of the lowest common denominator in terms of the people on the stage, but he had to say and promise something. And some of those things he went ahead and went forward with. We had checks at the beginning of the administration. We had this child tax credit at the beginning of the administration that now has expired with student loan debt cancellation. So the fact that he isn't being pressed in any sort of a Democratic primary process means he hasn't promised anything for a next term. So if people aren't feeling the Bidenomics love now, and again, long term, I think there are some really good things. I personally think that, supporting the Biden National Labor Relations Board versus the union busting Trump National Labor Relations Board is really important. But these are long-term things. This is not I'm going to benefit materially right now today. And that matters. So if people aren't feeling the love, you got to make a case for them. What are you going to do that's going to help them out? Like, it's not enough just to, point at Trump. I don't think it's enough, even though it has been a very potent issue, to just say, hey, we're not going to make things worse on abortion. I genuinely believe that if they want to get out of this slump, they need to persuade people that they're going to actually deliver to them, make things better for them, or else they are in a world of trouble, and no, additional Trump charges are going to save them.
We'll find out. I'm excited to see that test case. Who knows? They've gotten away with it on abortion once, which means they're just going to play that all over again.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.